All the secrets of your soul whisper deep into my own, and it's more than you could know, but I just keep letting go. I've been walking on this road, Mama told me to stay strong, and I'm moving with my guts. Thank God I got all these songs. Mama said we gon' lose sometime. Don't you lose your lessons. It's how you get your blessings, my love. Mama said we gon' lose sometimes. Don't you lose your lessons. It's how we get our blessings. That makes all the difference. It's how you get your blessings. It's how you get your blessings. It's how you get your blessings. Mama said we gon' lose sometime. Don't you lose your lessons. It's how we get our blessings, my love. Mama said we gon' lose sometimes. Don't you lose your lessons. It's how you get your blessings, my love. I had to stop and restart the video because there were people that appeared around me and they started wanting to engage and talk to me. It actually connects to what I wanted to speak about in today's video, which is finding the balance of being alone and being together. Alone in our own energy, our own truth, our own space, and together with others. We were speaking about grieving last week, and I find that in all of the communities that I'm in and with all the beings that I work with who are going through grieving right now, the silver lining of that grieving seems to be the opportunity to embrace even more of who you are when you're alone and bring that into your togetherness. There's this feeling when you grieve of everything being brought down to the ground level, and so you might as well not hide aspects of yourself that you've been holding away from others. You're just more inclined to be who you are because that's all you got. And the silver lining of that is this opportunity that the next time we create community, relationships, togetherness, we can bring just that much more of our true self. I wanted to share this concept by an incredible scientist who talks about the gap between who we project ourselves to be and who we truly are. And he says that the wider that gap is, and he envisions it like two hands, like this top hand is who we project ourselves to be, and this bottom hand is who we truly are. And the wider that this gap, the more likely we are to have emotional addiction to the things that we identify ourselves with. So if we identify ourselves with a job or a relationship or a house or something that we do, we become more addicted to that thing in order to keep this gap in place. And I've found that when we grieve, that gap just collapses. And we have the opportunity to not need something external to validate and verify who we are. If you've been going through grief lately, as so many of us have been, I'm sure that you've noticed that there's just more of yourself that you see. the message that really came through for me today in this song and in the card that I pulled, which I'll read in a moment, is that idea of when we've lost, what is the lesson that we can keep from that loss so that that loss no longer feels just like a loss. For me, in this season, the lesson from my loss has been being even more of myself. And that translates into allowing myself to be who I am when sudden strangers appear and they're watching you, or someone in relationship doesn't like what you're doing, and someone that you love and wanted to impress isn't impressed by what you did. Can you remain even more who you are and not pull away, not reject them back? Can you remain together and also stay in your aloneness? It's my question to you. It's my question for myself as well. I feel every day that I'm living into it. It is such a deeper joy to be in togetherness when we are truly operating from ourself. And that sounds so simple. But so many of our lives are built upon all of these modifications of our behaviors and our wants and our needs based on what we think is okay and what will be allowed in togetherness. And I feel, as I look around in my community and the people I work with, that something is happening on this earth right now that is shifting that. We are all being asked to burn down to the ground all of the false ideas we've had about who we're supposed to be in order to be in togetherness and connection. Be who we are and see who's actually there. Who's there for it? Who can you connect with when you are just being all of yourself? The card I pulled today is hope. And I thought it was so interesting after last week pulling grief that this week I would pull hope. The message is hope is the 10th heart remedy, a feeling of expectation and desire for a certain occurrence or outcome. Alchemist, you must have hope. There is something that asks for optimism and anticipation today. There is some unforeseen, powerful visibility waiting just beyond your sight and reach. Do not doubt your instinct to look forward with hopeful attention. After all, haven't you found more happiness, more joy, more contentment in your hope than you did in your doubt? Let there never truly come a time where you feel you are without hope. To hope is to be alive. The very reason you are here in this world today is because those who came before you had hope. You can never know the future, but you can hope for the best. Hope is never wasted. The story I wanted to share about hope was that I used to think that hope was dangerous. I used to think that hope was just a ticking time bomb waiting for betrayal to occur. And that was because I was using that approach to not hope in order to avoid grief. And what this season of grieving seems to be teaching me, and so many beings that I'm connecting with and communicating with, is nothing is ever going to keep us from grief. Ever. Nothing. Grief will always occur. Loss will always occur. So in the moments that we can, whenever we can, why would we not hope? Why would we not hope or feel joy? Because none of the times where we don't feel joy or we don't hope will spare us from grief and loss anyway. And I know that's a really hard truth to swallow, that nothing will ever spare us from grief or loss. But once it's digested, there is so much room for hope. The last thought I want to leave you with today is a question, which is, if you were to allow yourself to be whoever you are with all of the people in your life, can you let yourself be hopeful about what that outcome might be? Instead of telling yourself that it would be the worst, all these terrible things would happen, I would lose all my friends, none of them would be there for me. Can you let yourself just possibly be hopeful about what the outcome of being your full, whole self might be? Try it. I'm trying it too. I'll see you next week.